my story of grace. My name's Erin, and I'm married to Isaac, and we have a 1-year-old daughter named Daisy. I originally grew up in Dayton, Ohio, lived there for 23 years, and then just moved up here when me and Isaac got married in 2023. So life before faith was very different. Growing up, I did not go to church. I had a pretty normal childhood, but life quickly, as I got older, got harder, and things of the world, pressures of the world became very evident. In middle school, that's when I really started to see the pressures to be known by somebody, and I tried to be known by teachers, getting good grades, by coaches and parents, by being good at sports, by peers, by being the class clown, stuff like that. And all those things feel good for a time, but at the end of the day, it doesn't completely fill you up as you hope it would. At the end of my 7th grade year, going into my 8th grade year, I kind of tried all of those things to fill me, to fill just this empty part of me, and quickly realized that it wasn't going to work. And so I turned to other things, and life got really dark, and I felt very hopeless. There was just not anything that was going to fill me, and I tried time and time again for all these things, and I was in a really, really dark place, mental health wise, and there were quite a few instances where I just didn't really know what was going to happen the next day. That was probably the darkest, between my 7th grade year and my freshman year of high school. Those whole 2 years were really, really dark and definitely far from the Lord. I mentioned I didn't grow up in church. I really did not know anything about Jesus other than Easter. I didn't really know what Easter was though, but I knew there were some holidays about God. And then my freshman year, I played field hockey, and an upperclassman invited me, who was also on the team. She invited me to this thing called Young Life, and I had no idea what it was, but I was like, oh, an upperclassman wants to hang out with me, I'm going. And so we went to this thing called Young Life, and I had a blast. It was really fun. We sang songs, played games, and then at the end there was an adult leader who got up for about 10-15 minutes to talk about the Bible, and that was the first time I ever read anything in the Bible or heard anything from the Bible. I mean, it was fine. That wasn't the big moment for me by any means, but I really, really enjoyed Young Life, so I kept going back week after week. And we went on a fall retreat that October, and that was the first time I heard the full gospel laid out in front of me, and that was a huge moment. It was the first time when I was I could distinctly feel I think this is what I'm looking for to fill this hole that I felt for years trying to fill up. And it was just the first time it was clearly, this is the gospel of Jesus, this is what he did for me, this is who he is. And I was there's no way I can say no to this. So looking back on that moment, I was just at the very beginning of knowing who the Lord was, and I had so many unanswered questions, so many doubts, so many what is this even going to look like for my life? And it really was just a step of faith. I have no idea what this is going to look like for me, how this is going to change my life, but I know that I need it and I want it. So looking back now, it's obviously I've learned so much and grown so much more in the Lord, and I just now it's I just know it's all worth it. Back then, it's life is hard, following the Lord is hard, but now it's I just know it's so worth it. Life is so much sweeter, so much greater, walking with a faithful God. Who played a role in my faith journey? My Young Life leader, for sure. Her name was Ashley Scudder. I called her Scuds, and she was real with me. She was the one who shared the Lord with me. She was the one who I prayed with for the very first time I ever prayed with the Lord, and she walked with me those first few years of figuring out, what does this look like? How does my life change now? What happens with my heart as it changes? And she answered those really hard questions and challenged me to continue pursuing the Lord even when it was really hard in high school. All of my friends, like not even one single one of my friends, other than my life leader, was following the Lord. And so a huge challenge was like, how do I like keep going down, like wanting to learn more about the Lord, wanting to read his word and what he calls our life to look like, and how do I juggle that with these friends who aren't doing things that are godly, who I still love very, very much, but they don't like God. They don't want to hear about God. They don't want to hear about church or Young Life. Like after 2 years of knowing God, like it was really a whole process of kind of losing those friends, and not by choice really. It was just like I was getting pulled this way and they were getting pulled this way, and it was just like we just didn't have a ton in common anymore. And so it was a really lonely time because I was used to having this huge group of friends, constantly busy, and then I was like, I don't want to do what they're doing right now. And so Ashley Scud, like I would hang out with her multiple times a week. Like she would take me grocery shopping, we'd go to the movies together, like I would go over and clean her apartment with her. It's just like all the little things, and she truly showed me what it looks like to like live in fellowship, just hanging out, doing the daily tasks together. Like we talked through all of that, all of the, what do I do when my friends are doing this and I don't want to do this? What do I do when I feel lonely and I just want to go to the party with them? Like, and we talked through it, we found scripture together, and she showed me, like introduced me God as like a friend, and she was like, he is your friend, he is always with you, he is always faithful. And so it's like, it may feel physically lonely when you're by yourself on a Saturday night, but she showed me like he is always with you. And so yeah, she just discipled me through that. We read the Bible together, we prayed together, and she just came alongside me in my life as a newly found Christian. So I think God kind of showed me like, where do my priorities lie? Am I going to be somebody who is godly, who wants to look more like the Lord? And that means turning down worldly things quite often. So I think that was like the biggest shift, was like, what do I want to be known for? And for so long it was to be like known for my personality, and now it's like, no, I want to be known by God, and I want to be known for like being God's child. Me and Isaac both grew up in Dayton. We planned to live in Dayton when we got married. Isaac went away to college in BG, and we got married the week after we both graduated, and we planned to come back and live in Dayton. And then like 2 months before we graduated, we got this call about Young Life and starting it in Logan County. It would like totally flipped my plans upside down. And for a while, I was like, no, it's like, I'm not willing to give up this like dream, that life that I have. So that definitely cost like my comfort for sure, more so. Like I was not comfortable leaving my closest friends and my family. But what I gained from that, on the other hand, is so much. I feel so much closer to the Lord, like following his will. And like it's been hard in ways, but it's been also very rewarding, and the Lord has shown his grace and his faithfulness to me, our family, time and time again since we've been up here. It's just so special, like seeing the people that God placed in your life and how it looks different than I would have thought when I was 13 years old. My life looks so different than I would have ever thought in my life, but it's just so much richer and greater and sweeter now. Obviously life is still hard after you meet the Lord, and I think what anchors me is I always think back to the scripture of the manna, and how he just provides day after day exactly what we need. And it doesn't look like what we want, and it might look redundant, like the same manna every single day in front of you, but it's just that reminder of like, okay, God has been faithful starting forever, and he's going to continue being faithful forever. And I often like remind myself of the seasons where God like has showed his hand, has showed his faithfulness to me. Might not look like he's being faithful right now, might not look like he's wants what's best for me right now. But when I step back and I'm like, okay, there's been time and time again where I'm like, no, this isn't how it's supposed to go. And God's like, yes, it is. And then it happens, and I'm like, okay, I see now that I'm on the other side of it. I think like I just remind myself like he has been faithful time and time again. He has been good time and time again. And like I can rest in those truths. I feel like I always go back to like, the Lord is with you always. Like that, especially when I first met the Lord, that scripture was like constantly in replay in my mind. And I like always like would just picture myself. I'm like, I'm hurting, I'm sad, I'm lonely. And he takes me under his wings and he protects me. And reminding myself of like, wait, I don't have to be sad and lonely all the time anymore. It's like I have somebody else I can turn to, and he is there protecting me and ready for me with his arms wide open. Because I totally feel what it's like to feel hopeless and like there's nothing good to come. But I would just encourage you to wait it out, to keep going, keep pushing, because he does reveal himself and he will reveal that he is good and he is faithful.